He's been a troll in FPL this season, but it might just be time to bring in Bruno Fernandes. Welcome to the Gianni Battici YouTube show. Hope you guys are well and you're looking forward to Game Week 11. These are my early thoughts. I've got 2 free transfers and I've got a lot of directions I could go in. So let me talk you through them. Just touching on my Game Week 10 team. Of course, I've still got Brian and Burmo to play, but so far, a fairly good performance. It was disappointing with the captaincy. I didn't go Salah. I don't own him. I went Haaland and Foden combined well, but didn't produce any points. Big chances missed at the end there from a Foden assist for Erling Haaland. But Solanke coming in good. Rodgers as well. And Matt Sells at the back. Nottingham Forest defence, definitely one to cover. They are keeping clean sheet plenty. But I look at this team and I know I've got to sell. I know I have to sell Dominic Calvert-Lewin this week. But I think I'm going to be selling Phil Foden as well. So no Foden, no Calvert-Lewin gives me 15.1 million to spend on a midfielder and a forward. And with 2 free transfers, they're the moves I think I'll make. I'll, of course, be waiting for the Champions League to see what minutes Foden gets. But with De Bruyne now back fit, I wouldn't be surprised to see Foden benched versus Brighton. And Calvert-Lewin, of course, he just needs to be sold. He's got West Ham away, but Everton just aren't producing, and he's looked absolutely poor. And there's so many good budget forwards. So let's talk through some of the midfielders and forwards that I could buy in the Foden and Calvert-Lewin spot. Guys, if you want to show your appreciation for the show, please do hit that like button. But I would love you to subscribe if you're new around here as well. Thank you, as always, for your continued support to all those that already subscribe. So look, let's have a look at some options, shall we? In midfield, a short-term punt. Pretty much my midfielders, I'm narrowing it down to Spurs and Man United. We'll talk about the individuals, but the number one pick for me at Spurs within the budget would be Brennan Johnson. Sonny's going to be a bit too expensive for me. I've got 15.1 to spend, remember, and I need a good forward too. So if I go Son, I can't get a good forward. Even Strand Larsen would be too expensive. Brennan Johnson, more of a 90-minute man than Son because of Son's injuries. And I fancy Brennan to start and probably play 90 versus Ipswich. Now, Ipswich is the perfect entry point for the mid to low price midfielder. He's 6.7 million. We saw him score in Game Week 10, but he's just such a favourite of Postecoglou's at the minute. The disappointing thing for me this week is they play Ipswich and Solanke's flying and Brennan's a good pick, but they also go to Fenerbahce on Thursday night and it's in Turkey. It's a long trip. It's a long flight and it puts me off a little bit. Thursday, Sunday turnaround should be fine, but Brennan is a really high upside pick, both for Ipswich at home and Fulham at home. They're 2 Spurs at home are very, very good, and Brennan Johnson is absolutely someone I've got my eye on as a potential punt. It probably wouldn't be short term. Like I don't really want to be buying players for 1 week, but Man United probably gives me the slightly longer term route with their better fixtures. But Brennan for Ipswich is certainly of huge appeal, and I'll be seeing what minutes Spurs give to him on Thursday. I'm hoping he's rested, and we have seen a lot of rotation in the week for Spurs for their European commitment. So Brennan is definitely on the radar. And in terms of his average position, by the way, last time out, we saw Solanke score big, but look at Brennan. That's sort of Mo Salah style position, proper high and wide down that right-hand side. He gets in at the back post. We saw the Son cross for the Brennan tap-in. We'll see a lot of that. And Brennan has been a real outlet for Spurs. This graphic from between the posts is brilliant. You see the average positions, but you also see how advanced they are. And Brennan on that right-hand side is always fun. And he's having the season of his life. Guys, shout out to OneFootball, by the way. If you're not already using OneFootball as your football app of choice on your phone, give it a go. Scan the QR code now. It's a free football app if you haven't heard of it. It's great for the scores, the live scores and team news, but also for short video clips of all the goals in midweek, like EFL goals. I'm like, I just want to see Crystal Palace goals against Villa on Wednesday night. Short video clips there for you. So OneFootball, give it a go. You'll absolutely love it, and it helps your FPL scouting too. I use it on a daily basis. It lives on my home screen. There's a free link in the description, which is obviously free to use as well. So look, Brennan Johnson, yes, I like. I feel like Spurs could be slightly shorter term because their fixtures are mixed. Man United fixtures, however, are much, much better long term. And there's 2 Man United options. Garnacho is the cheaper option, but remember, I've got a bit of money to spend. And Garnacho, I still question a little bit where he'll fit in for Amorim. I think he's going to be a starter, but I'm not sure where. He plays wing backs, and I just wonder if we see Garnacho as a wing back. I don't think we will see him reinvented as a wing back. But if he's playing a front three, I think Bruno, a number 9, and then maybe Rashford or Garnacho. I don't know. Maybe long-term Garnacho's minutes are a slightly risky pick. But with Leicester up next, then it's Ipswich, then it's Everton. It's a great run of games. It's Arsenal, Forest, City after that, Bournemouth, Wolves, Newcastle. That's all the way through to the end of the year. It's a lot of green fixtures. And the new manager bounce we're going to get, the entry point is there. His shot volume is huge. He's greedy. And he's been getting 90 minutes under Van Nistelrooy. Now, remember, these games, the Leicester game will be under Van Nistelrooy. After the international break, though, the Ipswich game, Amorim is in place. Amorim takes over, I think, on the 11th of November. He's pretty much staying in Lisbon until the international break. And, of course, Sporting Lisbon play Man City on Tuesday night. Yeah, he needs to take charge of that one. That'll be fun for him, I'm sure. The entry point is lovely now for Man City mids. So Garnacho is a legit option. I can't believe he's only 6.3 million, by the way. So I could go there if I want to save money, depending on my long-term strategy for players like Saka, and if I see Salah as someone I'll buy. But I could also just spend a little bit more money, extra 2 million, and get Bruno, who under Amorim is going to flourish, fellow Portuguese. I think he'll be a little bit more advanced under Amorim, and I think Man United will score way more goals. Now, Man United have only scored 8 Premier League goals this season, and I think only Southampton have had fewer with 7. But under Van Nistelrooy, they played Leicester in the EFL Cup last week. They scored 5 goals. Against Chelsea, they scored a goal. I think under Van Nistelrooy, against Leicester, at home, they're going to score big. And I really like Bruno. We saw he got the points with his penalty, but in open play, the threat is there. He's on set pieces, on all the free kicks. If he scores or gets an assist, he'll get bonus points too. Now, in a 1-1 draw against Chelsea, he mopped up in the bonus points because that's just what he does. He does really well in all that underlying data. So sure, Caicedo scored and Caicedo did really well on the underlyings, but Bruno Fernandes, 41 BPS, gets him 3 bonus points absolutely easily. And I really think this is probably my preferred option so far if I look at my team early this week. So, Bruno Fernandes, good chance I buy him. I do like Brennan and I do like Garnacho. I'm pretty sure it'll be one of those 3. I'm also going to be shopping for a forward because Dominic Calvert-Lewin is gone. Now, the popular choice last week was Matheus Cunha. This is their average position map from between the post, their pass map against Crystal Palace. And they were good. I wouldn't say they were overly impressive, but Cunha and Strand Larsen, a proper nice front 2 there. We saw Sarabia starting, so a slightly different dynamic up front with Sarabia's return to fitness. Wing backs in action of Aït-Nouri and Cunha and Semedo. Cunha was lively. Cunha only got an assist in a 2-2 draw, right? Now, when you get an assist in a 2-2 draw as a forward, you don't expect to get bonus points. You expect the other scorers to probably be on bonus points, the 4 goal scorers or whatever. Cunha's so good for Wolves. He takes corners, he takes set pieces, he's probably on penalties, although we're not sure if him and Sarabia were on the pitch at the time. But he also is great for key passes. He's great for dribbles. All of that stuff in the bonus points, he's great. So in a 2-2 draw, he only gets an assist. He's still got bonus points against Crystal Palace. And when you look at the Wolves fixtures, it's frightening how good the Wolves fixtures are for any team in the league. Now, it's only Wolves, which is why it's probably not frightening because Wolves are Wolves. But if any team has these fixtures, whether they're Wolves, Ipswich or Man City, you've got to take note. It is ridiculous. If I give you the fixtures up till Christmas, right? Christmas Day, I'm going to give you up till game week 17. Southampton, Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton, West Ham, Ipswich, Leicester, all teams around them. All teams around them. The best team they play in that run is Fulham. They're going to score goals. Clean sheets, maybe not, because teams will be like, oh, it's Wolves. We can score against them. But Cunha and Strand Larsen are both legit options. Now, there is a price difference between them. It's a 1.1 million. Cunha has gone up to 6.6. Strand Larsen is 5.5. There's a big decision to make. Sure, I think Cunha gets more points. But you've got to compare apples with apples, and there's 1.1 between them. That's like what? Almost 20%. So what will I do with that extra million? And that's something I need to use this week to work out. So Strand Larsen, like we saw a goal and we've seen a couple of goals. He's done well. He's now playing 90. This is the really important thing with Strand Larsen because earlier this season, they came out and said, I think Gary O'Neill said, he's not fit enough to play 90. This is the Premier League. This is tough. He's not used to it and he's struggling. And he was coming off at 70. Now he's had 90 the last few games. He's a really good option. He's only 2% owned. He is the out-and-out number 9, and he will be served by Cunha, but Cunha has more routes to points, but is more expensive. So do we want to go there? Cunha's up to 6% owned now, by the way. Last week, he was like 2%. Now he's 6%. He has been the popular choice, and he rewarded his owners straight away with 6 points. I think Cunha is the standout if you can spend the extra. But maybe there's alternative options. And outside of Wolves, excuse me, sorry, this is unedited. Outside of Wolves, there are other options. Let me give you a few in a minute. Just let me take the time to hit that like button if you fancy. But if you want to subscribe, just check, because loads will think they're subscribed and they're not. And if you want to subscribe, just double check and hit that button for me today with the notification bell to know when I go live and when all my videos are published. So what other forwards are there? Like, I look at it and think there's plenty of forwards doing well. And Liverpool, as a non-Salah owner, I've got at the back of my mind, should I be punting on a Liverpool forward? I don't know. Could I look at a Cody Gakpo? I think he's first choice on the left. Maybe. I also know after the international break, when Darwin and Diaz are coming back from South America, he's absolutely safe to start Gakpo. And that's the Southampton fixture. I just think he'll probably be a short-term punt, Gakpo. I look at other players, though. Like, do we like Nicholas Jackson? Yeah. Do we like Isak now? Absolutely. So I need to give a little bit more thought in the week. But when I look at my bus team, this is how I'm set up with 2 free transfers, no money in the bank. Calvert-Lewin has to go. Foden doesn't have to, but I really want Bruno Fernandes. And there's obviously the only midfielder I'm willing to sell here will be Foden. And Burmo, Palmer, Rodgers, they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. And I don't want to sell Haaland. I don't want to reshuffle. And I've committed to no Salah, and I think I'll stay with that. We do need to talk about captaincy. Solanke has currently got the armband for me. I just think Solanke has got the standout. Well, we know he's got the standout fixture. Now he's got a couple of goals. I'm interested to see how many minutes he and the first team get on Thursday night for Spurs, because that is a tough trip to Turkey on Thursday. Haaland at Brighton, he'll get chances. Surely he starts to hit a barn door. I think that's where my armband will be. But there's options this week. If you really want to be punty, Wolves play Southampton at home. If you own Cunha, it's probably a little bit too far-fetched. Salah, Aston Villa is a good option. Like, we've just seen Villa concede 4 to Spurs. At Anfield, they could very easily do the same. So loads of directions to go this week. I'm pretty sure I'll be using my 2 free transfers to sell Foden and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but we'll know later in the week what direction I'm going in. I'll have a team selection video out on Thursday, so stay tuned for that. On your way out, guys, do hit those buttons. Do check out Fantasy Football Scout and OneFootball, and I'll see you for another show very, very soon. Bye-bye.